Welcome to On Deck with the Ketts, the official show of the Kettleers, taking you through everything happening around Lowell Park and all throughout the village. Now here's your Kettleer media team for this episode of On Deck with the Ketts. Welcome back to On Deck with the Ketts. I'm Lily Butler here with Tyler Danburg and Joe Pratt as we are bringing you the third podcast segment of this offseason. Tyler, we'll start with you. How you doing tonight?
Doing great, Lily.
Joe, doing good?
Yeah, doing well. Excited for our third segment here. I'm going to give it back to you to get us started with our guest.
Yeah, awesome. So joining us today is former Kettleers pitcher Anthony Veneziano. Anthony signed a minor league deal with the Kansas City Royals in 2019 after a college career at Coastal Carolina University and his 2018 season in Kettleer. Anthony, welcome.
Hey guys, thanks for having me. This is some exciting stuff.
Yeah, thank you. Anthony, what kind of impact did one season with the Ketts have on you?
It was huge. I mean, I think that was the first time where I was around a lot of high-level baseball players, guys from Division I programs all over the country. So it was really cool to get to share some experiences with them and kind of pick their brain on the things they did at their program and how they got prepared and, ways just to get better. So I think everybody I was in contact with, whether it was a coach or a player, I mean, they both helped me tremendously, helped me get to the next level and eventually get drafted the next season.
And you talked about, working hard to get to that next level. Are there any major things that come to mind just thinking about some maybe traits that you may have learned during your time at Kettleer that you still kind of apply today as a pitcher in the minor leagues?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we had our pitching coach when I was there. His name is Jerry Weinstein, and he's actually a catching guy. So being able to pick his brain and really talk on how to sequence hitters and how to read hitters off of certain pitches. Because when you get to the next level, like in college, my coach called my pitches, so you don't really pick up on some of those things. But in the Cape was the first time I got to kind of call my own game, and Jerry really helped me understand, when to throw fastballs in certain counts or spots, how to pitch to the score, whether the inning, runners on. So when I got into pro ball, I was kind of a little more comfortable than some of the other guys because I had that experience the summer before.
Anthony, did that kind of help you get a sense of what catchers look for as well, seeing the other side of the battery?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that was probably the first summer I actually got to talk to the catcher in a pregame meeting instead of just having the coach call, like I said, but having that repertoire and, familiarity with the catcher, understanding why he sees he sees from the opposite side that I see. So there's things that he picks up that I don't. So being able to kind of talk one-on-one with him before the game and have a good, better, more understood game plan, I think, really helped me when I got to the next level.
So you really, you talked about how seeing it from that point of view helped you transition into the next level, probably better than some of your other teammates. What were some other ways that playing for the Ketts kind of helped that transition?
I honestly, just talking to the hitters. I mean, being in a dugout full of guys that ended up all getting drafted, the days I wasn't throwing, I would just sit there and talk to whether it was Mike Tolia. I mean, he got to the show. So it was really cool to hear what he looks for in pitchers and if we're ever tipping any pitches. So it was the first summer where you're on your own in that sense of understanding the game. So being able to get it from your players has really, really helped.
And still touching on the whole improvement aspect of playing on the Cape League, is there one major trait that you can think of right now that was your best back then, and then maybe compare it to one of your best strengths as a pitcher today?
Yeah, definitely. So it was funny when I was in college, I only threw my fastball to my arm side just because the way it ran, and that's how it was, and I didn't really ask any questions. But when I got to the Cape, Coach Weinstein really forced me to throw the ball glove side up because my stuff plays better in that area. And I did it all that summer, felt really good. Went back to college, really didn't think anything of it. And then when I got into pro ball, that was like the number one thing I needed to work on was that glove side fastball up. And I kind of already had it down from the Cape. So it was pretty easy for me to make that adjustment and get back into the swing of things. And that was probably the biggest, I guess, physical thing. And then the mental side of it, like Coach Roberts was great with preparing you for the rigors of a full season. So, we're busting the games in the Cape. We really didn't do that in the season. So when you just bust to a game and then play, that's how it is in pro ball. So it was definitely a good experience to get that too.
And before you went back to Coastal Carolina for your final year there, for the Chanticleers. You pitched in 4 games with the Kettleers. Was there one game that sticks out to you from your time on the Cape?
Oh, dude, yes. My favorite game. So we were playing, I think it was Harwich, and I threw 6 innings, 6 scoreless, but I had a no hitter through 5. And I was so hyped. And I faced this kid from Clemson, and we played Clemson all the time, so I knew the kid, I knew of him. And he had a swinging bunt single, and it kind of broke up my no hitter. And but I finished the inning strong. I know Duke Ellis, so the guy ended up getting to second base, and then our center fielder Duke Ellis, routine fly ball to center field, regular depth. He freaking wound up and threw the guy out of third, double play, end of the inning, got out of it, finished my game 6 innings scoreless, and that was my favorite outing.
Wow, that's incredible. So kind of getting off the field a little bit, what's the community like in Katuitt? And then how did it feel to play at Lowell Park?
Oh, it's like one of the coolest feelings because it's the whole town comes to your game. It's not, it's different in college, right? But like just Katuitt, it was our own little spot where the fans were just tremendous, and just the area itself. Like I think I stayed in Barnstable, so it was a really cool spot, and like they had a really couple real nice delis, and there's a Dunkin' on every corner. It's very very Massachusetts like. But no, the community was amazing. We did a couple things. So on the 4th of July was a really cool day. We got to have all the kids come and played on the field with the kids, and we did a slip and slide. And Coach Roberts stood in there, and the kids threw the ball in the splash tank. That was really cool. So the community was amazing, and really every place we went had a different feel and different fan base. So it was really really cool experience.
And you touched on it a little bit, Anthony. What can you say just about the Cape League and Katuitt compared to maybe the rest of the teams in Katuitt, and then possibly some other summer leagues that you may have heard of or experienced?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think the day you get to college and everyone starts talking about, dude, you're going to go to the Cape. Like, that's the coolest feeling in the world. Like, it's an absolute privilege for anyone that got up there and got to play and just be in front. I mean, it was the first time, too, where there was like a scout every game. So every time I threw, felt like 30 scouts there with the guns up watching you throw. You didn't really get that in other college summer leagues. I played in the Coastal Plains League my freshman year, and it was a little bit more kind of run down and laid back. And, you're just out there having fun playing. But this was more like an extension of a season, and everyone took it very serious. And you can tell there's a reason why they were there, because they were very talented players. They worked really hard, and obviously it showed on the field. But that was definitely the coolest experience, was seeing all those scouts or filling out those questionnaires. And Coach Weinstein was with the Rockies at the time. I don't know if he still is, but he had to fill out like questionnaires for the Rockies and kind of do things that they did. So you got a really good taste of what pro ball can be like.
And you mentioned you stayed in Barnstable. Was that with the host family?
Yeah, it was a host family. It was actually a host dad. He unfortunately actually passed away in 2021. But his name was Sean Walsh, and he had like 4 of us. He was a great guy, cooked us dinner every night. And it was kind of like my house is like a revolving door. So when I first got there, it was me and then a kid from LIU Brooklyn, and then another kid that played D3 in Massachusetts, and they both left. And then another kid came named Ted Stuka. He's with the Tigers now, I think. Big, like 6'9", skinny guy. And then we ended up having another kid came and I left. So it was definitely it was cool to have 3 or 4 different roommates throughout the summer. Because my first summer when I played in the Coastal Plains League, it was just me. And, it was fun and all, but I think it was more enjoyable to kind of share it with some of your teammates.
Talking about this revolving door with players coming in and out of your host family, what was that kind of like for you, feeling like you were kind of the one staying there while all these different roommates are passing through? And then how did that kind of impact your relationship with your host parent, just one-on-one?
Yeah, so the first 2 guys, they were really cool, but they were both on temporary contracts. So the LAU Brooklyn kid was hoping to stay the summer, and unfortunately he didn't. And then the other kid, it was just like the coolest thing in the world for him to be there at the Cape. And so you've ever heard of the movie Summer Catch? And you guys ever watched that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So that's it's a summer movie about the Cape, and what's his name, Freddie Prinze Jr. and Jessica Biel. So my host dad actually he used to be a photographer for the Cape, and he took pictures and they used it in the movie. So it was really cool, like, hearing about the stories that he used, and like the one scene where they go to the bar, he'd always talk about. They went to the bar, and like in the background of the bar were like just regular bar, set up with pictures and flags and all that crap. That's all of his stuff. And he showed me all the pictures that they use in the movie. And he was actually in the process of writing like a 900-page book about the history of Cape Cod. And a lot of it had to do with Cape Cod baseball. This guy was like a fanatic when it came to baseball. So he knew every player that came through. He had a whole book of like stats and stuff. So he always told us, he's like, your name's going to be in there forever. So the kid's name is Jake Drexel, I think his name is. But he threw 1 inning in the Cape. But he's in the Cape stat book forever.
1 inning. That's all it takes to etch your name in Cape League lore. Now, Anthony, getting the call when you got drafted, selected 10th round to the Royals in 2019, when you get that call, what's that feeling like for you?
Oh, it was incredible. So I just finished my college season. So we got to a regional. So I only had 1 day. So like we got back on Monday and then Tuesday was the draft. So my mom actually came back down to South Carolina and we were cleaning out my apartment, getting everything ready to go. And then I knew I was going to be in the late, round 7 to 10 basically. So we, kept the phone open. My agent shot me a text, said, "Hey man, be ready." I was like, "Oh, I was so excited." We turned on the TV that had MLB TV going, and got the call as the second pick in the 10th round to the Kansas City Royals, and it was like 30 minutes went by until they actually revealed the pick. So we were like all anxious. All my buddies came over. We watched it. Everybody hugged each other, celebrated, and then I drove home to New Jersey and flew out to Arizona, and I was playing with the Royals within like 2 days.
That's awesome. Is there any certain player that you kind of had as a role model growing up whenever you were younger that you looked up to and you were like, I want to be that guy one day?
Sure. I mean, I grew up a Yankee fan, so I was spoiled with everybody being amazing. But every kid loved Derek Jeter. But I was a big Andy Pettit fan, left-handed pitcher. I used to love watching CC Sabathia, another lefty. And then when I got into high school, I got a player like comp, I guess, to Andrew Miller, who used to be on the Yankees, went to the Indians. So I just followed him a lot. But personally, one of my best friends, his older brother went to Seton Hall, played baseball. So when I was a kid, I always looked up to him, and he would take me through college workouts as a kid and teach me some of the things to get ready for college, just like how the Cape got me ready for pro ball. So there's two, it's pretty similar with guys giving you kind of the inside scoop of what to expect.
Anthony, where are you located right now, and what's kind of the day to day for you? Early right now in the February so far.
Yeah, so I actually just got back from Arizona. We had a little winter camp out there, so they usually throw like 3 or 4 winter camps together just to get a smaller group of guys in there that the coaches can work with. So I just came back from Arizona on Monday, and then I'm hanging at home in New Jersey right now until the 14th of February, and then I'm going back out to spring training. But right now, I mean, I go in the morning and throw at the facility. I actually work at too. I throw there, work with some of the guys. There's a good group of like 4 or 5 of us that are in pro ball. Then I'll go. I have a trainer that works me out in the afternoon, and then usually at night I'll go back and work at the baseball spot and help some of the kids. I mean, they have some really good kids in there. There's a kid right now. He's freaking 17 years old, throwing 96. So he's looking to get drafted this year. He's a big dude, man. He's like 6'5", 230, super filled out already, and he just hit 96 last week. So I get to work with him, which is really cool.
Now, this is going to be your 4th year in professional baseball, and I happen to see a jersey of yours from your time with the Northwest Arkansas Naturals. It's a Marvel-themed Hulk jersey, and I got to ask you, what's been the favorite uniform that you've worn or the favorite jersey that you've worn in your pro baseball career or just career in general?
Yeah, absolutely, dude. I probably got 2 of them. So I played my first summer in 2019 in Idaho Falls, Idaho, way up there. Would have never thought I'd been in that part of the country, but great experience. But we wore Hawaiian jerseys. It was a really cool look. Like it looked like you're going to like a luau. And then this past season, we did the Hulk jerseys. Honestly, that's probably the worst Marvel one people did because there were some cool Black Panther ones. There was a cool Iron Man one. There was a Thor one, and we had the Hulk. And our jerseys are like navy and maroon, but we're wearing green Hulk jerseys, so it didn't really go too well. But this year we wore Star Wars jerseys, and it was Han Solo on the front, like with his little gun like this, and then on the back was the like a kind of silhouette of the Millennium Falcon, the spaceship he flies. So that was really cool, and I actually have it somewhere in my house. My mom, I told her to buy it off the auction.
That's so cool. Do you guys have any more questions for Anthony? Nope. That's it.
Yeah, I'm all set. Thank you for joining us, Anthony.
Thank you so much, Anthony. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you to Anthony Veneziano for joining us on Deck with the Ketts. Stay up to date with all things Kettleers on our website, Instagram, and Twitter. And we'll see you next time on Deck with the Ketts.